Welcome to Vice Grip Garage. Today I'm doing some work on a Mercedes I just bought. As you can see, I'm laying on the ground getting ready to change the oil. So I just thought I'd show you guys how I'm going to do that. In case you buy one of these or have one, you need to change the oil. It's a lot cheaper than doing it at the oil change place, except in this case I couldn't get the oil in the right weight that was on sale, so I had to do the more expensive oil, but that's okay. Let me flip this camera around here and show you what I'm up to. So this is the oil drain plug, and it's a 13 millimeter. A lot of times I use a socket, but today I'm just going to use this combination wrench and the inside of this ratchet, so it should make it a little easier. And I'm also going to use this thing I invented, if I don't drop it. It's a couple magnets connected by a chain. And what you do when you're changing your oil, of course you got to have a piece of metal. I clipped it up there on a piece of metal, and once I get the drain plug loose, I'll put it on there. And then when you unscrew it, when it's almost all the way out, put that on there. When you unscrew it, it'll catch your drain plug, so you don't have to hang on to it if it's hot. You don't have to worry about where it's at, because it's just going to be hanging there. In my case, just out of the view of the camera. But it saves you losing your drain plug, misplacing it, or dropping it into a hot pan of oil. So let's get this baby going. Hopefully this wrench will do the job, if I get it turned the right direction. So it is the 13 millimeter, and of course it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. Oh boy, that baby's on there tight. Let me pause this. Okay, I'm back. I switched wrenches, and I also got another wrench so I can get some leverage. If I put it on there right, I can get some leverage. That's one tight drain plug. Okay, are you gonna help or hurt? Can't do it that way. Boy, they really got that baby on there tight. There. Wow, that didn't take much. Don't you love when people over tighten stuff? All right, let's try the old magnet. This is the first time I think I've actually used it. I made it. I soldered it in there. I tried hot glue. That didn't work. But anyway, I even applied for a patent. I just got to get somebody that's interested in buying it from me. And then, of course, I'll be a millionaire and I won't have to work for a living anymore. Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm hoping this catches on. There we go. That's nice. I dropped my phone into the basket. I guess you can still see it draining out of there. Yep. Sorry for the movement there. I forgot the thing I'm holding my phone with was leaning up against the oil pan, so you bump it, it moves. Let me wipe my hands off and get back to you here. Hang on just a second. Well, let me go ahead and pause this for a second. As you can see, my little invention works pretty good. There's the drain plug hanging there. Don't have to look for it later. The oil can drip off of it, and it's not laying in a pan of oil. Now this is a Mercedes ML320, and it takes a lot of oil. 8 quarts to be exact. It's either 8 or 8.5. It's a crazy amount. I use an old paint pan that I used to do a lot of painting, and I like it because it's, you know, it's wide open. You can not have to worry about hitting a small round oil pan. We'll let that drain for a little bit. We'll go up on the top here and I'll show you what we have going. This, if you're looking at the vehicle, this is the driver's side. This is where you add your oil. And of course that just unscrews like a quarter turn, eighth of a turn, comes off. When I first went to look at this vehicle, there was a lot of vanilla milkshake looking stuff on the cap and around here. And I thought, well, I'm not buying this vehicle. It's got a blown head gasket. But this vehicle sits a lot. It hardly gets driven. So I checked the oil. The dipstick is over there, the red one, which why it's red, I don't know. It should be yellow. And there was no water in the oil. So I was like, I guess it's just condensation, because normally when you see that much white stuff, there's going to be white stuff. It looks like a milkshake in the engine too. And sometimes, if it's a head gasket, it'll be in the overflow reservoir, which on this Mercedes is up there. Cold level, looks like it needs a little bit of antifreeze because it's sitting about right here and the cold level's up there. So that's another project. This is the oil, where the oil filter goes. You have to have a special wrench. Now I have one that I bought for a Toyota, but they sent me the wrong one. I ordered the wrong one. So it'll look kind of like this. And I thought, well, maybe there's a chance it'll fit, but it doesn't. It's too small. And I don't have one. And I couldn't get my water pump pliers, these bad boys. I couldn't get those open wide enough to get a grip. So what I ended up doing is using a pipe wrench, which worked. It marred it up a little bit, but it's not a big deal. So you unscrew this, and you're supposed to tighten it. It's clockwise, and it's 25 newton meters. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look it up. I'll just hand tighten it. But there's your, we got more flow going now that we broke the seal. So there's your filter. I bought a new one. I went up to O'Reilly's. Let's see what the new one looks like. I hope they gave me the right one. Sometimes you wonder if it's going to be the right one or not, but there's the filter, and the box looked like it'd been open, so I checked it, and it's got I think it was just a bad opening of the other box, but anyway, it's got a bunch of O-rings that go on the filter, and you pull up out of there. It's got this long neck on it, and there's like 3 O-rings that go on there. So I'll have to take this apart, clean it up, and see what's going on with the O-rings, because I really don't know. And then of course this is where you add your oil, and like I said, it holds 8 quarts. That's a lot of oil. Let me pause this, and I'll get it set up on a stand, and we'll go from there. So it was about done dripping. So I put the oil drain plug back in. Look how much oil's in there. I mean, that's a lot. I don't think I've had any vehicles that held 8 quarts. My Prius has like 4.5 quarts. A GMC pickup with the 6-liter, I think it holds 5 or 6 quarts. Anyway, get the old 13 millimeter and we'll snug that up. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go gorilla on it. It's snugged up, so now that won't leak. What I'm going to do is get some brake cleaner, shoot a little bit underneath here just to knock the oil off everything so I don't have an oil drip. And then we'll go back up to the top and start working on the filter and get that replaced, Then we'll fill it full of oil. So the pan was pretty full. So what I did was I dumped it into this, I think it's about a 2 or 3 gallon bucket. Then from there I took the funnel and put it into this old water bottle, Rain-X or something, yeah. Anyway, then I can take it down and recycle it. And as soon as I empty one of these other bottles, I'll dump the rest of the used oil into there, take it down, recycle it. Right now, I just wanted to make some room in that pan so I can work on this filter. All right, let's get that filter out of there and see what we have to work with. I've never done this before, so I don't know what happens here, but I'm assuming something unscrews or slides off. Oh, looks like it's just going to slide off. Okay, so the filter slides off. We'll just set that in there and let it keep draining. And this is where the O-rings are. Hopefully you can see that. There's one there, one there, one there, and a big one up there. I kind of wonder if there's another one, because the ones I got, it looked like 2 of them were the same size. Well, let me grab those filters, see what we have, our O-rings. I've got this pick that comes in pretty handy for stuff like this. This one's on almost a 90-degree angle, but it's good for getting into little tiny places like this. So I'll take the first O-ring off, and the second O-ring, let's see if you can, kind of just got to slip it under there and then peel it around in a circle. There's number 2. Now I'm looking at the O-rings they sent me, and I looked at them again, and 2 of them look like they're the same size, but it doesn't look like they should be the same size. Okay, so there's number 3 off. And here's the top one. We might just go over the top with it. I don't think it's going to matter too much. Keep you guys so you can see their 4th one's off. Now, this is kind of oily, so I don't think I'll have to worry about lubing it. Let me grab those O-rings and put those on. I have a rag here someplace. It's always nice to keep a rag handy when you're changing oil. I just want to look and see what you guys can see. Oh, you can see good there. So, let's put the smallest O-ring on first. I'm just getting it started and then slipping it over. And like I said, there's still some oil on this, so I don't think I need to lubricate it. Second O-ring, slip it up on there. I think it'll just slip into place. Kind of roll it around there. That's in place. Now, the 2 that came off are 2 different sizes, as you can see. But the 2 that they sent, well, they really look like they're the same size. So I don't know if they messed up or, oh, you know what? They have 2 of the same size, and I'm not sure why. That's what the deal is. It's not that one's the wrong size, it's that there's 2 the same size. Okay, and these, as you can see, these are kind of tapered, so they help you just kind of slide that O-ring on there. I guess the thing you don't want to do is cut it, scratch it, whatever. Come on, get on there. I'll have to break out the pick. There we go. I think once you get it started in the groove, you can just kind of roll it in the spot into place. There. Now we have 3 O-rings in place. I don't know if I'll save that or not because I'll never find it if I do need it. And let's get the 4th one on there. This one I'm just going to dab a little bit of oil on it. Just because it's a little bigger. Okay. Probably the simplest way is run it up from the bottom. They are stretchy, so that helps. There. Make sure it's in the right groove all the way around, not caught on the threads. And wipe my hands again. Grab the new filter. I think I'll wipe some of this off of here. Just because I can. Looks like there's a little bit of grit there. I don't know why. Now I can't imagine that this filter has a forward and backwards. It's more of the fluid's going from the in to the out, so. Well, that's not wanting to go on, so let's go this way. There we go. I guess that comes out of there too. Is there another O-ring in there? Nope. I think you just slide that up to there. That locks into position. So now in hindsight, you can twist this and pull that whole thing out of there. If you twist it clockwise, it locks it into position. So we'll move this out of the way a little bit, and then we should be able to just screw the new oil filter back into place. I'm probably right in your way. It's kind of tight. Let me get this out of the way. We're done with this. It's a little bit snug. And it's got that O-ring on there. Try it with the rag, but if that doesn't work, say 25 newton meters. I don't know what a newton meter is, but it seems like it came off kind of hard. And I'm assuming it seems like it built up some pressure, so I guess you want it on there snug. Anybody knows what a newton meter is? You can make a comment down below. I can Google it and find out. I think you just want to make sure that baby is sealed. There's a little oil on the intake manifold. That'll probably smoke later. Okay, I think we got the filter on, the drain plugs in. We can start adding oil. And the way I usually do it, not always, but usually, I use a transmission funnel because it holds a lot more oil. But in this case, well, let me pause this and see which one's going to work the best. I tried my transmission funnel, but you can't stick it down in there because there's a piece of metal right there. It just has a couple holes in it. So really the furthest I could put it in was that far, which means it's sticking up in the air 1.5 feet. Which is just too far. Let me grab my regular funnel. We'll give that a shot. I keep this funnel inside. I have a cardboard box I throw it in just to catch any remnants. But I always like to wipe it out with the rag before I use it because it always likes to collect some dust. It's really windy where I live in Washington State. There's always sand blowing, so I cleaned it out fairly good. And now let's see that'll stay in there one way or another. I guess it will. Sometimes I have a problem with the funnel. As you're putting oil in it, the funnel wants to fall out. This one, I don't know. It's going to stay there or not. I may have to hang on to the funnel with one hand, pour oil with the other. This is the only oil that O'Reilly's had that is the right weight, 0W40. They had some stuff on sale, but they only had 5W, 20, 30, 40, stuff like that. So I'm going to use this. It's only got 108,000 miles on it, so it's a low mileage vehicle. We might as well keep it running good. I just used my open-end wrench to poke a hole in the aluminum foil up here. And let's start dumping it and see what we get. As long as it dumps in as about as fast as I can pour. It's not too bad. If you could see the inside of the funnel. You can't pour too fast because it will come right up over the top of the funnel and you'll have a big mess. And don't ask me how I know that. It's the same way when I'm filling empty bottles full of oil. If you don't stop pouring soon enough, especially with the transmission funnel, it'll be full of oil and your bottle will get full and then it just starts running on the ground. So in this case, you just gotta keep your eye on the funnel. Don't let it get over about half full. And just make a steady pour. Now this takes, like I said, 8 quarts of oil. So that is 5 quarts, if I remember right. Yep. So 3/5 of another bottle, and we'll have this baby full. Put a cap on this. Now the nice thing about these bottles is they have a semi-transparent gap in the back here so you can see how much oil you're adding. So I guess if that's 5 quarts, that's 4, 3, 2, 1. So we need to take this down to here, and that'll give us our 5 quarts, or I mean a total of 8 quarts. I can see why the measurements are different because the bottle is a different shape in here. Holds more oil down here. So let's just start dumping her in until we hit our 8 quarts. In fact, I'll probably stop at 7. Start the vehicle. And whoa, there's a good way to overflow. Let your bottle fall off of where you're holding it. Okay, let's see where we're at there. Now that is, let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's about 7 quarts. Let's leave it there for now. And I'll see what the dipstick looks like. The dipstick in these cars has a red cap, which is kind of silly. And the bottom of it's red. So when I first checked this car, I thought it was transmission fluid. And then I'm thinking, this shouldn't be transmission fluid, but they just make it red, I guess. Maybe they thought you could see it easier. I don't know. And the dipstick is right below where you guys can't see, probably. Put that in there, and what do we have? It's barely getting up on the dipstick. So I think we'll be all right putting another quart in. Let's see, keep that kind of level. Okay, that right there is 8 quarts. Now, I'll just leave that sit there maybe. I don't know. It's gonna drip. I'll put my finger on it and I'll run it in and throw it in the cardboard box. And make a mess on my way. Now the cap, is here someplace. There it is. You know, they always have to make stuff black, and it's black on black, so sometimes it's hard to find. It says right on the instructions here, to avoid damage to engine, oil must not exceed max. So don't put 9 quarts in it. Probably don't even put 8.5. Just put 8. Then I'll fire it up, let it run for a second. Right now I have it on ramps. Show you that. You can do this right off the ground, but as you can see, mine's up on ramps. And I think next time I do it, I might try to do it right on the ground, because then it's level. And the way the oil pan is, you'd get more oil out, I believe. But for now, I think it's okay. I'll start her up and back it up a couple feet, get it off the ramps, and then we'll check the oil and see how it looks.